Sandboxing and virtual machines. First, let's cover sandboxing. So, what is sandboxing? Sandboxing is a security mechanism that allows you to run software in an isolated space. They're usually used to test untrusted applications, and a very popular tool that implements sandboxing is Sandboxy. So, let's look at the sandboxing architecture. This is hardware, the blue section is hardware, and the pink area over here is the operating system, and this is how a normal app will run in a computer. The app has direct access to your hard disk and your registry. But in a sandbox, the sandbox creates a virtual hard disk and a virtual registry. So the application only has access to the virtual registry and the virtual hard disk. They cannot interact or modify the original hard disk or registry. So what are the advantages of sandboxing? Sandbox applications can access files stored directly in their hard disk, but they will not be able to modify the files. And it prevents programs from making permanent changes to your system. Suppose if it's a malware, it cannot make any permanent changes to your system. And it's also very useful for secure web browsing, because if any zero-day attack happens and a malware is downloaded into your system, it won't affect your real system. So let's now cover virtual machines. A virtual machine acts as a virtual computer. It allows you to run another operating system, which is your guest, inside your main operating system, which is your host. For example, you can run Windows inside Linux or Linux inside Windows. And many virtual machine softwares allow you to run multiple virtual machines at the same time. This is the architecture of a virtual machine. And here you have your host operating system, which is your main operating system. You have your applications running, and then you have your virtual machine monitor running over here. And inside a virtual machine monitor, you can have multiple virtual machines. Take for example this is a Linux computer which is having its own apps, and it has another OS over here which is Windows running its own apps. Hence you can have multiple operating systems running inside a virtual machine. So what is a virtual machine monitor? A virtual machine monitor, also referred to as a hypervisor, is an application that creates and manages virtual machines. There are two types of hypervisors. One is hypervisor 1 and the other one is hypervisor 2. The example we saw before was hypervisor 2, and it runs within an operating system, but a hypervisor 1 runs directly on the hardware. Let's look at the architecture of that. So this is what a hypervisor 1 architecture looks like. You have your hardware, and your hypervisor is your main operating system, and you can have multiple operating systems installed in the same hypervisor. So use of virtual machines. Of course, virtual machines are very much used in malware analysis. You can do malware analysis and then reset the virtual machine back to its original state. They're very useful for pen testing and ethical hacking labs, as you can carry around your tools within a single virtual machine. And it's also useful when you want to test software on multiple platforms. Suppose you say that you have developed software which is supposed to run from Windows XP to Windows 8. You can run all the different operating systems and test them all at the same time. And you have a lot more applications to virtual machines. You can also run multiple applications and operating systems within a single system, and guest machines are isolated from other guest machines. Suppose one of your virtual machines get infected, it will not affect your other virtual machines. And as said earlier, you can easily restore your machine to your previous state. So list of virtual machine softwares include VirtualBox, VMware and QEMU. Thank you.